Hello, welcome to Body of Christ Real Talk. Hey, Health Talk with Joseph Brownlee. Check this out and let me know what you think. Is this a solution for weight loss?
It's a good idea to warm up.
All of your objectives will be easier to reach if you are physically fit.
I don't know if there are any myths about exercise and weight loss, but there's certain realities that are unavoidable.
People seem to have this tremendous misconception about how much they have to exercise to lose weight.
To burn 100 calories, one has to run about a mile. So think about that. One donut.
If you were out there running 3 miles for 30 minutes, you could come back and you could undo all of that goodness in about 45 seconds by picking up a candy bar and wolfing it down.
20 minutes of jogging is one chocolate chip cookie.
Nobody believes you burn as few calories as you do when you exercise.
To really lose weight, you have to do a whole lot of exercise.
You don't walk in here unless you're ready to work. No, Rudy is never going to stop until you die. I want to hear you.
I cringe when I see The Biggest Loser. It can actually do a disservice seeing this rapid weight loss that they achieve on television that is just not doable under normal circumstances in the real world. They focus on physical activity and exercise as a major therapeutic approach for treating obese patients, and we know that that's just not correct.
When you're overweight, it's a lot easier to lose weight by reducing what you're eating than it is by increasing physical activity substantially.
It's a heck of a lot more simple to modify portion size, to modify our intake, if you will.
I believe that in terms of obesity prevention, that both strategies are important.
A combination of...
Okay. Now, I wanted you to hear that. There's two things. If you was paying attention, I'm going to see that you pay attention to that. To those two things I want to focus on. The first example was strategies of losing weight. How do you lose weight? And there's different ways people say to lose weight. And it's going to lead to one thing when you come to a traditional dietitian way of losing weight. Exercise or less eating. The two things that's mostly out there. Exercise or less eating. You never hear nobody say eat a lot. But it's usually their solution for weight loss in most American and a lot of other countries, but most of Western American diets is food consumption. The less food you eat, the more weight you lose, or a combination of both exercise and, less food consumption. Now, both of them works. Both of them works. No doubt about that. Both of them works. But they don't work for everyone. And the problem with both of those diets, just like any other diet, but I'm going to just name what I see the problem with both of those diets, what I know, because most people do those type of diets. They eat less or they do a lot of strenuous exercise. You know, that was kind of really way out there exercise, because it was this show they used to have of a lot of overweight people doing strenuous exercise and stuff like that. So that group of people that focus more on aggressive, all-out exercise, they think the main way to lose weight is hard pushing yourself in exercise. That's the way they see that. And some of that does work. And then the other group, mostly diet doctors and some clinicians in the American traditional way, they see the way to lose weight, and they have confidence in that is eating less. And both of them does work. Now, when I look at it, or a lot of low-carb keto people low carb dieters or even carnivore, but just look at low carb dieters, which I recommend. I'm just letting you know what I do, what low carbers do. It's not like this. That's why I'm saying this, so you can know where I'm going. Low carb diets will hear both of this. So when I hear this, the first thing comes to my mind when you say rigorous exercise, what comes to my mind is, okay, that's good, but how's your eating habits? Has that changed? Also, what type of carbohydrates are you taking in? Not calories, but carbohydrates. Because our brain is wired on carbohydrates, if I can put it that way. A low-carb dieter, especially a keto diet or a carnivore dieter, your mind is wired on carbs. So just exercise is not the way for a low-carb type of person that believes that carbs is one of the biggest issues of weight gain and bad health. So that would never trigger me or anyone else that exercise is the way. Now, exercise is partial of the way, not even a big part of losing weight. But will only exercise, rigorous exercise or light exercise address your other health issues besides the little weight that most people only lose? Will it address your other health issues, and how long will you be able to do that without putting it back on? Because remember, it's usually just temporarily. It's not a lifestyle for most people, especially overweight people. It's hard to make it a lifestyle, so it's just a diet or it's just a challenge. Then most of the times, most people go back doing the same thing because it doesn't address the main problem. Exercise doesn't, okay? When it comes to less eating or less calories, and I cannot say this enough, when you just focus on less calories, I have to ask this again. What type of calories you talking about? Even if it's less calories, what else are you eating? Less of what? See, this is how I look at it as a low carb thinker. A less calories of what? See, because is it less calories of pizza? Is it less calorie of only vegetables? Is it less calorie of this? Is it less calorie of that? Less calories of what? Let me give you another example. When it comes to two type of less calories, if you want to go on a low calorie and you focus on calories, you have two choices. You eat low calories of ultra-processed food or low calories of red meat and meat only. Which one do you think a low-carb or no-carb person will choose with the same amount of calories? If you pick the red meat and meat only, you are correct, because that's the only calorie will benefit a low-carb person that's on a low-carb diet, because we are low-carb focused. Because there's no other sugar or hidden fructose or glucose or all kind of oils hidden in that. And that's what our body seeks, and it works for our type of body. Low carb, low calorie doesn't. Low carb, it could be low calorie, but as long as it's low carb. You understand what I'm saying? Because you'd be amazed, we don't need to eat a whole lot. We don't need a recommended 3 meals a day. That's man-made. These days I go with just one meal, and it's not a full meal, and I'm satisfied. Because I'm satiated and my body eats the fat because it does not have the sugar to eat anymore from the carbohydrates. That's the benefit for a low-carb person that's on a low-carb diet or a lifestyle. But it has to be a lifestyle. And when people say they tried the Atkins, they tried the keto, and it failed, a lot of times it's not because the keto diet failed, it's because you had an addiction to the bad carbohydrates that you've been eating, and you could not do it because of an addiction. See, once we come to the point that we have an addiction to sugar and bad carbohydrates and a bad lifestyle of American eating. That's why we fail, especially a low-carb diet and many diets. But I'm just saying, when it comes to the low-carb diet, the majority of it fail a low-carb diet. I believe most of the time is because we haven't broke the addiction problem. We miss the junk that we eat. We miss the ultra-processed food. We miss the sugars. We miss all that. We are addicted. We are addicts. The same as a lot of junkies, the same as a lot of cocaine addicts, alcoholics, sexual addicts. It's an addiction. So that's why I say a lot of times it's not the diet that fails, it's our addiction. You understand what I'm saying? That's why the term yo-yo come back. We are addicted to ultra-processed, junky American food of eating. We are addicted to a certain way of eating. And then when we fail, a lot of times we blame the diet. Now, I ain't talking about the bad diets. We blame the diet. It's just we haven't got control over that addiction. So we fall back. We relapse. And we blame the diet a lot of times. Until we learn the elimination, until we understand that carbohydrates is the number one problem, not calories. And that's just the truth. I don't care what these doctors say. Carbohydrates and hidden sugars and all that is the number one problem. And they know that. And it's not the calories, because I got to keep asking, what type of calories are you talking about? Everything food you put in your body, yes, it is a calorie. But what type of calorie? All calories are not bad, and all calories are not good. You understand what I'm saying when I say that? What type of calories are you talking about? So when you say cut back on what? Cut back on what? Stop eating and stop eating what? Okay, if I stop eating bread, if I stop eating meat, if I stop eating this, not only eat vegetables, you saying that's going to be the solution? Cut back on what? Then you want a full nutritional diet, I believe, and some carnivores might not agree, I believe a full nutritional diet is mainly meat, some vegetables, and some fruits. I don't doubt that. But I believe when it comes to a need besides water, but when it comes to the number one need for our body, I believe it's meat. I believe if you was left on this earth and you had no meat and only had vegetables, yes, your body will get used to it. I'm not without about that, because people do that a lot in other countries, only eating vegetables. But you still won't have as much muscle structure or strength or the main nutrients that you need for your body. And I believe there is a longer lifespan when meat is added to it. But I'm not saying that you will not survive just being a vegetarian or a vegan. My point is you're still going to be meat the majority of your nutritional and your natural vitamins, from what I have learned. So my point is, when you say, low calorie focused, okay, what calories are you talking about? I'm sure it's American Standard Diet. Vegetables, fruits, grains, and stuff like that, and low fat. It has to be lean. That's what they're talking about. I'm most definitely sure about that when it comes to that. So they're saying low calorie of that type of eating. What's one of the big issues of that? Because usually when you're trying to low fat and low calorie, usually still more carbohydrates that you're consuming, which is the number one problem, not the calories. Think about that. See, no matter what they talk about obesity, and it's all true, their solution just lacks because they're focused on calories and not on the carbs that people are consuming, which is the main issue for metabolic health, is the bad carbs. Count calories all day long, because if you're still cutting on calories and eating those calories that you are eating is full with bad carbs, and they don't have to be only sugar, you still going to have an issue for most obese people. God bless. Peace out. Real talk, healthy talk.